And what is up, guys? My name is Chance from the Prestige Crew, and welcome to another tutorial on farming on the new No Man's Sky 1.5 or next update. Now, a lot of people in the comments asked, how do I get these blueprints just from starting a fresh save? Well, I'll explain that, but I won't do a fresh save to follow along with you just because of a matter of time, because a lot of it requires you to follow the main quest line. Now, before we get started, I want to thank you guys for the support in the last video so much. That is the most likes I've ever gotten on a video, I think, and the most views in a matter of 24 hours. So thank you guys for your support, and let's get straight into the tutorial. So once you follow the Atlas quest line enough, you will eventually be required to construct the construction terminal. That sounds amazing. But before you do that, you'll have to find an overseer to actually run the construction terminal. I believe I found a glitch in the game, but you know, this is okay. Alright, so once you actually have your overseer, he will require you to start doing a certain amount of quest lines. He will require you to hire a scientist for your base, and eventually down to the construction, or down to the weapons manufacturing, and even down to farming. So once he gives you the farming quest, you will be able to craft an agricultural terminal, which will cause chromatic metal and condensed carbon. Now, once you have your farming terminal constructed, the game will ask you to go find a farming overseer or farming specialist. He'll most likely be Gek. I think he's always Gek. In your space station. I'm not sure if it's different. It might be in a different space station. You might have to travel, but for me, it was just a Gek farmer in a Korak space station. So once you get him, he will, well, mine won't say much because he's already done, but he will run you through a series of quests in which you will learn all of the crop blueprints as well as all the hydroponic trays. One of the first blueprints he will give you is the hydroponic trays. So that'll be really nice. I saw someone in my comments asked how they got the hydroponic tray blueprint. It will be acquired by the from the farmer, as long as you build your overseer first. But I know for a fact, first you will be required to craft a science terminal. I know the first crop he will teach you is coprite flowers. The only downside to this is that he will have you actually grow every single plant in here. But a good counter to that would be to just collect the product that plant gives you and then hand it in to him, because it will count. You do not have to actually grow the crop. Now, in the beginning of the video, I did mention how, or which ways would be the best way to grow these crops and which would be the most profitable way. From a personal preference, I use living glass to create cryopod chambers, but that is a blueprint that may not be easily attainable for you. I don't know how I got it, but it was just in my inventory when I saw it, so that's how I ended up with it. But for you guys, selling circuit boards or living glass will do just fine. It'll still make you a ton of money compared to what you were making. Now, to create the living glass, you need lubricant and glass. Glass is pretty easy to manufacture. It takes frost crystals. Frost crystals are the fastest growing crop and give you 50 yield per. They take 15 minutes to grow, so if you just plant a decent amount of these, I just have 2 greenhouses full of them, which does the job more than fine. So just make sure you plant plenty of frost crystals. There's not an exact number. If you want to do the math, you can, or you can look at Xaines World's video. Now, as for the lubricant, the gamma root is more annoying to collect. It does grow every half hour, but it yields only 50, and you need 400 of it to craft lubricant, which is a huge number. If you want to make an efficient farm creating living glass, you'll need at least 1 coprite, and then I think it's 8 gamma root to harvest every half hour and sell every half hour. Of course, these numbers would decrease as long as you chose to harvest at a different interval of longer time. Say if you harvested every hour, you need half that. As for frost crystal, you need 5 plants for that, since 1 frost plant, 1 harvest will give you 50 crystal. That's enough to produce 1 glass, but it does take 5 glass to produce 1 living glass. Circuit boards are a bit more tricky and require a bit more crops and a bit more time to harvest. I believe you will get the heat capacitor and polyfiber blueprints from the construct overseer, since he will want you to create a few items for your base that will help you out in the future. Heat capacitors also require frost crystals, so if you want to produce that as well while producing living glass on the side, you'll need 2 more frost crystal plants, and you'll need 2 selenium crops. I forget what they're called. I think they're heat wheat or something. I don't quite remember. But 2 selenium crops, which will take 2 hours to grow every time, but they yield 100. So that's why I always said circuit boards takes much more time. I mean, they sell for 1 million, but in the time you can create 1 circuit board, you can produce 4 living glass, which will give you at least over 2 mil. The only way this circuit boards would be more efficient if you had 4 selenium crops, or maybe 8. I don't know what you'd prefer. Before, I also lied. Selenium does not give you 100 per yield. It gives you 50 per yield, so that requires you to have 4 selenium crops in order to create 1 heat capacitor every 2 hours. So if you want to double that, 8 selenium crops will give you 2, that's 2 million, then 12 selenium crops, and so on. So depending on how efficient you want your farm to be, you can plant more and you can plant less, but if you want to harvest every 2 hours, that's what's going to get you 1 heat capacitor every time. Now the polyfiber is a bit more easy. Cactus flesh grows every 2 hours but gives you a yield of 100 cactus flesh, so you only need to grow 1 cactus flesh, but I planted a lot extra just to be sure. Starbulb, on the other hand, is a different kind of story. Starbulb does grow every half hour, but it only has a yield of 25, so you need at least 8 of these to produce 1 polyfiber. Or if you want to harvest every hour, you can just produce 4 and collect oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. Okay, yeah, you could produce 4, but you'd have to harvest every half hour. That would give you 200 in the end game. I'm sorry for that. I had a special moment there. Circuit boards are then easily crafted with the combination of the two, and there is 1 million units for you. Now that about sums it up for most of the farming tutorial. If you want to grow other crops and produce other products, be my guest. In my personal opinion, these are the two most efficient ways. I'm sorry this video couldn't be more. I had a lot of people asking if they could do, or if I could instruct it from a fresh start, but to do that, all you really have to do is follow the Atlas quest line, which would take a matter of hours. So if you guys like the video, please subscribe, hit that like button, subscribe to be awesome. My name is Vegas or Chance from the Prestige Crew, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.